For this project, we decided to create a speaker with parts lined strictly around a typical home. We got magnets, 22 gauge copper wire, paper plates, paper, and a hot glue gun. With the magnets stacked on top of each other like so, we wrapped a piece of paper around them, followed by copper wire next. We did approximately 60 wraps and then glued the paper to the plate located on top right here, as well as the magnets to the paper plate located on the bottom. As the magnets attract or repel the copper, that movement causes the paper plate to give off a frequency heard by the ear. So the theory behind why this all works is directly dependent on the equation force equals current times length of the wire times magnetic field. We commonly see this written as F equals I times L times B. The magnetic field is created by the magnets, while the length of the wire is dependent on how many wraps one does around the magnets. Current is created by the amplifier, sending it out based upon the frequency and volume of the sound required. The stronger the force generated, the faster and harder the thump and louder the noise. Concerning the frequency, to achieve high-pitched noises, the paper plate needs to oscillate back and forth very rapidly. This will generate higher hertz and a higher audible noise. To achieve deeper noises, like bass, the speaker needs to oscillate at a slower pace with more power and thump behind it. We see this with the equation frequency, F, is equal to speed of sound, C, divided by wavelength. So as we increase the wavelength, it will result in a decreased frequency, or a deeper bass noise, versus if we decrease the wavelength, we're going to have an increased frequency and result in a higher pitched noise. So as you can see, we have the leads from the amplifier, which is being fed from the TV, directly hooked up to the speaker. We've already confirmed this worked in previous tests, but in this one, I have the amplifier on full blast to try to see if we can get as much noise. It is pretty quiet, so listen carefully. So our final product came out pretty simple. Here we have the two plates, the upper and lower. You can note the lower is more of a bowl than a plate, providing the classic speaker that you always see. We have the two wires coming out as the inlet and the outlet. We have the spring suspension, as you can see right here, to recoil the paper plate back. And then on the inside, we have the magnets and the coils wrapped around it. So if we were to do this project again, seeking a much louder result, there are 4 things that we could definitely focus on to improve it. Firstly, we could buy better magnets. So the magnets we had were your just common household refrigerator magnets, and if we were to replace them, we would go with 2.5 inch N48 neodymium rare earth magnets. These are very powerful and result in a loud boom. Next, we could increase the length of the wire. We could do more wraps with higher gauge wire, having more area and more bang for your buck. Next, we could increase the current. We talked about potentially hooking up to a car subwoofer with 12 volts and 1200 watts. Lastly, to compensate for everything else, we would want to seek a larger paper plate with more surface area so that it can keep up with the increased force that's going to be resulted upon it.